how to get the dream life that you want. It's a bold promise, I know, but if you hear me out, then you can take the ideas and see for yourself if you resonate with them or not. So I think it was Tim Ferriss that said that the only thing standing in between where you are right now and your dream life is difficult conversations. So that for me has felt true for a long while. For me, I always felt like the most important skill was social skills, the ability to talk to people, strangers, strike up a conversation, and feel comfortable, and with anyone basically. And the more I noticed that the more I worked on my social skills, the better everything became in life. So I started out in my in life generally. I started out very shy. Like I had a difficult time with people. I was pretty bad actually. I was shy, socially anxious. All the good stuff. It was very difficult for me to um, strike up conversations with strangers, become friends, and build relationships. That was very difficult for me. Um, so I noticed, like in my late teens, I started drinking and partying and stuff like that, and I think that's when I noticed that I I was more socially. I improved socially. The alcohol unlocked something within me. It did not give me any skills I didn't already have, but it unlocked something within me. It showed me that there is some social skills. So I managed to have like good energy. I could vibe with people, and suddenly I would start making friends. And I did this for a few years before I realized that the alcohol was unlocking something. I thought that just, I didn't think much about it. I thought that, okay, well, if I'm on alcohol, I'm fun. So I need to be on alcohol to have fun and enjoy life. And then at some point I realized that, hey, maybe I should learn to be like this when I'm sober as well. And I kind of dove into learning social skills. So in my early 20s, I still socially shy as hell, anxious, all the stuff when sober. And I realized I had to work on this, so I dove headfirst into sales, because then I knew I had to talk to strangers, I had to face rejection, I had to improve or just suffer. And I did both. I suffered while improving. But so I did sales for like 1.5 years, cold calling hundreds of people all the time. And I mean, at the start, I think the first assignment um, I ever had in sales was to call someone I know and ask for a sale. It was like $20, but that was like the most nervous shit I have ever done. Like even to someone I know, that was the worst, because I used to be so shy that even like calling for a doctor's appointment or customer support or anything like that were just, it would give me adrenaline. And so I was in sales. I called people. Um, you know, I suffered basically. I was so fucking garbage. I had like, at the start there was like zero natural skills helping me out. Um, so I just went on and on. I never gave up. I showed up every day. I just called, and eventually something just, um, I don't want to say, maybe I want to say disappeared. Something disappeared, where eventually rejection was just, it didn't rub me, and I would just keep calling. And eventually I also noticed that, like outside of the sales, I noticed that my social skills had improved, because I didn't care as much about being a fool or saying something weird, because I had done so many reps of it already, and it didn't matter. So I noticed that improving. I also did some public speaking, which also helped develop some of my social skills. And so that was kind of my foundation that helped me out. And so it gave me like big understanding. It unlocked that part of me that alcohol unlocked before. I had now seen within myself sober. And basically every job I ever had after that, because I did a few things here and there, I noticed that like everything was so much easier because I had social skills. I would like instantly get into the new place. I would instantly make friends. I would have a good energy, share good energy. People would like me easy because I gave them good energy, and like it was all fun, and like had good mentality and all of that. So I noticed that um, work improved a lot. And I during my teen years and early 20s, I also had some girlfriends here and there. Nothing super serious. Um, Partly because I had to do a lot of work on myself. So I didn't understand relationships. I didn't understand nothing. I just saw a girl that I thought was cute and then kind of got together. But that process was like not from social skills. It was just kind of like um, kind of developed through mutual friends and stuff like that. It was kind of awkward. I still didn't have the skills to strike up conversation with someone I did not know and build some form of attraction between two people. But that's something that I eventually learned was a thing that um, striking up a conversation with a girl and creating some attraction is like a dynamic that you should know as a person. That's important. And when that word kind of opened up itself to me, I realized that okay, this is basically just social skills. That's it, social skills. And I know some people are gonna say that well, it's looks and money and status and all that, but yeah, but at the foundation, it's social skills because you can have all the external stuff, but if you don't have social skills or like personality, a strong personality, um, it doesn't matter because someone with a good strong personality, and when I say strong personality, I don't mean over the top like dialed up to a 10. I mean just like you are who you say you are. You're very authentic and you have social skills. You're not nervous, not anxious, etc. You're socially calibrated. Like that type of a person is gonna beat someone with only the external any day of the week. So, anyways, so I learned more and more social skills, and so I noticed that I got way more from life. I received way more. I could give way more in like every area. Health improved, um, wealth improved, relationships. Everything improved. And now I'm just gonna go on a tangent, but because there is a final point I want to get to of like, well, how do you improve a social skill? You can talk to people just over and over again, but what's the process? What does it look like? What's the actual improvement? Because if you only go talk to people and like get rejected without knowing what's going on, it's just gonna suck and you're probably not gonna want to do it continually. But I see a lot of people complaining, typically guys in comment sections of like um, they have an issue with talking to girls. They go up to a girl and like they feel like they get called a creep. So they get discouraged from talking to people because they're viewed as a creep. So like what's going on there? Because if you are that person, then yes, you will be a creep in the beginning. But what's going on? Why you are a creep has nothing to do with the external, like so many people think. It's actually a combination of the both internal and external. So when you are a creep or get labeled as a creep, it's not very clear always to the person who says that you're a creep why they think that way. But usually it's because the person who gets labeled a creep feels a certain feeling on the inside, probably nervous, anxious, whatever. And then they kind of reflect that on the outside. So they're really unsure, like probably jittery, and like in some small or big ways, they kind of show that to a person when they walk up to a person, let's say a girl. And people generally, and even more so girls, they will pick up on that. They can sense it. Women in general are way more finely tuned to those tiny details. So you walk up to a girl and you feel very unsure. You're projecting that. And to the person receiving, it becomes weird. Like, okay, you're walking up to me feeling really unsure. What you're projecting, the energy that you're projecting, is almost saying that like you're about to do something that's wrong. Because the creep probably thinks that walking up to a stranger, especially a girl, telling them that you think that they are cute, is something bad. Somewhere deep inside the mind, that's what's going on. So the woman that's receiving the hello from the creep is sensing that energy. It feels weird, it feels creepy, it's strange. Like, why are you feeling this way just walking up to me? Nothing, it should not be there. That's why it's creepy. And to the person that is a creep, they usually fail to realize this. And to kind of bring it all together, the final point I want to get to is like, being better socially is not about um, learning to be more than you already are. It's not about being loud. It's not about being like this crazy personality. It's about removing stuff, removing layers, removing the garbage that's in the way of you being you. Because at the deep core, you are like, I don't know how, like, this might sound crazy spiritually, whatever, but I truly believe that as a human at the core, you are just perfect as the way you are. That's it. But through modern society, you get layers of insecurity, doubt, whatever, that you kind of, you can't see through, and that's what you're bringing with you everywhere you go. You think that you are wrong. You think that you don't deserve. You think that all those garbage thoughts. So when you're like in social situations, you're anxious because you have a lot of beliefs of what's going on. That's not true. And the most successful social people I've encountered, because I observe a lot. Like if I talk to someone that I notice, like, wow, I enjoy talking to this person a lot. Why do I enjoy that? I observe it and I realize that the most like well calibrated, the best social skills, they are just they are just themselves. All this anxiety stuff is just not there. They're just, all the layers are gone. They're just themselves. They're just bringing forward themselves to kind of meet and connect with you. That's what's going on. And it's very simple in that sense. But as a person with a lot of those layers, I know, because I used to be that person and I still have a lot of layers to go through, but I've worked through so many layers from where I began to where I am now, so I can kind of see it. But you need to talk to strange. You need to challenge yourself in that sense to kind of um, notice the layer, realize it, and realize that it doesn't matter, and then you can let go. That's probably the easiest way, the most tangible way of doing it. You can meditate for years, but you can't really learn a social skill without actually being social. So doing it together is the best part, like being social and then being rejected, so you can learn that it doesn't fucking matter. It's just whatever. We're just fucking human beings traveling on a big rock in space, just trying to live a life. So that's kind of it. Social skills are more about being your authentic self. It's more about letting go of what's keeping you back and just being more of yourself. That's essentially what it is. And you know, if you're starting from zero, if you're starting from like super shy, like, you don't dare go talk to a stranger, basically. Like, the first thing you have to do is kind of start moving physically, getting some sort of confidence in yourself. And then when you have, if you can manage to just say hello to a stranger, just anything, the first step, just go up to a stranger, ask for directions. That's it. That's like, you're asking them one question, they're giving you an answer, and then like you're done. There's nothing else. You don't have to feel that you have to keep a performance or keep the conversation going or anything like that. And that's gonna, like, eventually, if you do that once a day, twice a day, you're gonna notice like the scary feelings go away, because it's not supposed to be there from the start. So that's why my promise still stands, that the one the big fucking skill that will change your life is social skills. And I mean, if you resonated with it, you resonated with it. If you didn't, however, you need to let me know why. But I believe that that's the single biggest skill ever, and it has the best ROI of any skill I've ever put effort into. So that's it. Peace.